Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Hendo's Hot Topics. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good week. Hope you're loving yourself. Now today we have a very special guest, up and coming artist out of Christchurch. Valle, how's it going, my brother?
Brother, it's going good, man. Good to talk to you. Good to be
Good to
here.
talk to you. Yeah, bro. Thank you for coming on the show. Very fortunate
Yeah.
to have you on. Hope you've had a blessed week so far. Now, what I love to start off, and I love to start off with, it's called Hey, Hay, which is how are you in general.
How are you in general? Okay, mean, fine. Yeah.
So how are you going, bro? How's life been? How are you finding it?
Um, man, to be honest, I feel like I'm in a crazy season, if you want to call it that,
Mm,
of change and things happening and a lot of exciting things happening. Everything, actually, most of the things that are happening around music and family and um yeah, everything's good, but it's just like uncertain and it's
mm,
yeah, I think when you're someone that thinks a lot about the future, it's like good and bad because you get excited and it helps motivate your steps forward, but then you're also like, I just don't know exactly how these things are going to pan out. So it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
but yeah. So I'm kind of just like just trying to stay present and in the moment as at the same time and not get too like, oh,
Yeah, got you,
yeah,
got you.
yeah,
I mean,
but
especially for someone who's starting to make it, trying to their ambitions are starting to flourish. It can get a bit daunting and get too over yourself where you plan too much. Be like, whoa, okay. I need to smash these goals out first before I get to those ones.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like for example, literally what you just said, I just kind of like let go of um touring in like I wanted to
Mm,
be able to market a tour and be like, okay, I'm actually gonna call it a tour for the EP. But I'm just like, oh, like I don't have to do that. I've got enough shows sprinkled around where I can get my audience to come and see me live if they're keen. Um, I sometimes you hold on to like this certain vision and it being executed the exact way that your mind thought it would be. But I'm like, I'm still gonna achieve the same outcomes,
yep.
but it's gonna be called something different. It's not gonna be called what I wanted it. It's not gonna come with the label, the packaging, if you
Mm,
will.
mm.
So it's like, yeah, just learning to kind of move with the tide a little bit. Um, I think as I get older and now that I have had kids, I'm better at that. I'm still not where I want to be in that regard, but I can feel that I've improved and like just letting go of some things a bit more. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a really powerful tool to have, bro. To know that there's still growth to happen. Yet you're very present with the improvement you've already made. That's really good work on your behalf, man. Now, let's kick it off. The brother Valet came out of Papua New Guinea, came over here with your mother some time ago. Now you're based in Christchurch. What was that change like?
Um, man, I think I only realized what the change was like in retrospect. So particularly once I'd gone back again. So once I'd gone back
Gotcha.
again
Yeah.
after 20 years, that's when it really hit me of um, like I said this line that Tony from INZ, shout out Tony, was reminded me of, and like we both got emotional in the studio when he was interviewing me because he's like, you said something that made me cry. You said that when you went back to PNG, um, you said that you saw yourself in someone else's face for the first time, and I was like, damn, it took me back to like the feeling when he reminded me of what I'd said. It took me back to that feeling of like, yeah, that's kind of the best way I can describe it. Like,
Mm,
um, because I was raised by my dad and it was like amazing, but I'd missed out on so much of like my culture
yep.
and those relationships. And I always was aware of tendencies in me um, that like I was never able to flourish in because I wasn't raised in that environment.
Yep.
And then with going back, I was like, oh, I can actually be me in those ways because it's all around me, and it's like I guess a fertile environment for those parts of who I am to flourish. Whether it's my language, the way that we're big on physical touch and expression, all these different things that are like were a non-factor in my bringing up here. I was able to unlock those things again that were just dormant.
Mm.
And I didn't really realize the fullness of that until I'd gone back and been like, oh shit, that's what I missed out on. Like, yeah. So I didn't realize until then. And it was kind of like set me this fire inside of me of like, man, I really want to go and redeem what was lost, and then also encourage other people that have left their homes and stuff like that to go and to pursue that journey for themselves and just see what's on the other side.
Did it excel your thought process moving on? Like, was it a really what's the word? Like a real grounding moment again for you? They thought, okay, I've like you said, I've touched on my culture. The part of
Yeah,
me, the chapter of me that I wasn't able to see out. Was
yeah.
it? Did it change your thought process? As in, okay, I'm gonna take these feelings and emotions I have from refinding my past that I missed out on to help me excel and to becoming a better me.
Mm, yeah, definitely. And made me more comfortable with
Love that.
those those parts of me that I was actually ashamed of at one point. Like I did this thing with outliers, and they decided to really hone in on my hair, and like my hair being a big thing that made me stand out and
Hmm.
growing up like in as a Kiwi in
Yep.
NZ. Um and I was like real ashamed of it, bro. Like I used to try straighten it and hide from it because I just wanted to blend in. I think going back was like, and that's just like a surface thing. There were deeper things in that, like that I was like, oh, I know why I'm this way now. Like,
Mm,
and I can see its application in a society and how that works and why it's important and why it's valuable. And I can see it on display and I can see it in action. I went and touched and I felt it and I immersed myself amongst it. And so it's like appropriate justification for why I maybe saw the world the way I did or felt the
mm,
way that I did. And so going forward, yeah, it's made me more comfortable with those parts and proud of them and kind of braver to push them to the forefront um, and take ownership of them. Whereas before it was like I didn't really know who I was, um,
mm.
and like a little bit lost. And you're easier swayed and influenced by exterior shit that may be not actually really important to you, but you got nothing that's like you say you use the word grounding, which is a really good word, which means that you're a more unshakable person because you don't want to be influenced. Like as human beings, you don't want to be influenced by things that you don't want to be influenced by. You want those things that you allow to influence you to be conscious choices. um and so yeah, being grounded helps you to make those conscious choices because you go, oh nah, this is not really what I'm about, this is not where I'm heading. um these are not my values, so you can let it slide. But if you're shaky and you're not grounded, you're like, oh, this seems like the buzz, oh no, this seems like, you know I'll jump on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I find that whether you're from a real cultural background or you're just have a really black and white blasé kind of background, is that like you said, bro, we get so influenced by, I guess I like to say, others' expectations.
mm,
How others want to see you. So you
mm,
end up becoming someone you're not. You end
mm,
up losing yourself, and it's the whole fake it till you make it. You fake for so long being someone you're not for others' pleasurement that you get to a point where you go, well, who am I? Exactly like you said, bro.
mm,
And that's amazing that when you were able to head home, that you really embraced that moment of this is who I am.
mm,
There's no one to make me question who I am, no one to tell me someone I'm not. Like, this is who I am.
mm,
This is me. This is
mm,
where I come from. These are my people. This is how I'm meant to feel. And
mm,
that's a really inspiring thing, man. The way that you said it, how it allowed you to flourish into the person that you are now, where you take pride of who I am. I am who I am because of where I've come from, because of what I want to do, where I want to go. And can I say now, is people pay thousands of dollars to have the kind of hair you have, bro. People pay thousands of dollars to have those curls. So
for me, bro, it's so the irony is like is so funny for me, and I know I've talked to other people around, like that I've met, being an adult now, and we just laugh
yeah,
about it because we're like, I remember when this shit wasn't hot, bro. Like this was, oh, bro, fire, yeah. No, I've got some funny stories, but it is just like it's crack up, man. It's
Go
funny.
share one of those stories. Share one
No,
of the
no, no.
stories.
I don't want to share on those stories. No, we got so much other good stuff to talk about. I don't want to sit on that. But it's just
Okay.
funny. We'll say that it's funny.
Yeah, you look at all the artists now out of the US, man. They're all going from straight hair to curly hair and pushing that out now. It's just it's awesome. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
and all the kids, bro, and like it's funny. I work as a barber as my
Yeah.
day job, so I supplement my music income with 2 days working as a barber.
Yep.
I got a wee shop here by my house, and just like, bro, people actually ask you like, how do I curl my hair? People be perming their hair, and I'm just like, gee, rock what God gave you or what your
Be
mom and dad
you.
gave you. Like, be
Yeah.
you. You didn't
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
bro. This I shared the story on my Insta one time about this Filipino boy. He was like he you rock. He's came in the chair and he's like, bro, I want to be black, man. I want to have. And I was like, gee, your culture's dope. I've been to the Philippines. You guys are amazing. Like, understand what you got is special and celebrate that, and don't do that looking over your shoulder, left and right, trying to be
Yeah,
like
bro.
someone else. Because one day the trends are gonna change again, bro. Like, so this might not be it for another. You know what I mean? Like,
I
it's what
100% know what you mean.
it ties into what we were saying before. Like, you got to know yourself, so you're not just like jumping on whatever.
And
Yeah,
that's the perfect way of explaining it is jumping on the trend. That's the perfect way of explaining it, jumping on the trend. Now, let's get into our music, my guy. Let's get into our music. What was it that attracted you to the music scene, to becoming an artist, a songwriter, and really trying to excel in that avenue?
yeah. I always grew up with like my on my dad's side, um, grandma or like all the women. They
Yeah,
all played piano, so I grew up listening to them play really well. And then dad always raised like, bro, there was just always music playing in the house, so it was just very like immersed in it my whole life.
mm,
And then I started writing poetry when I was 10. The police force were doing a primary school intermediate sort of like campaign. It was trying to prevent young kids to getting into methamphetamine.
mm,
And so they'd got this one guy to write a poem, and he wrote about meth like it was a person, and it really impacted me. It wasn't like I'd never seen the drug or touched the drug, but it was just like the way he spoke about it really kind of like light bulb moment went off, and I was like,
yeah,
whoa, this is such an impactful way to talk about this thing. Because I wasn't even aware. I was a kid and I didn't even know it was an issue. But it made it seem so real and so dark, and like, yeah, it was just crazy. And so I took it home, copied and pasted like the words, and like studied how he had the structure of it and how he wrote, um, and then started writing my own stuff, his as like a template almost, and then got into rapping after I got an Eminem CD for my birthday,
yeah, yeah,
when I was about 12 years old. And then the R&B influence was from my sister, who she would always have like Chris Brown and Bow Wow and Mario posters on the wall, and so I discovered music, um, R&B music through her. And then so that, my like musical expression just became like a melting pot of all these things that I'd grown up around, all these influences, yeah, and
yep,
things that I was listening to. Um, and then in high school, I used to hang out with some Africans that loved to Dougie and loved to dance and stuff like that. And we used to started off making Dougie videos. Um, Shout out Kelly Swag, teach me how to Dougie. And then we were like, oh, why don't we just make our own music and like dance to that? And like it kind of sprouted off on its own little journey. And then I didn't really think nothing of it. Went through school, and then came back down to Christchurch, started barbering, and a dude I was cutting, he was like, "Oh, I heard one of your songs on SoundCloud, and it's from ages ago. It's from school days." I'm like, "How'd you hear that?" He's like, "Bro, I'd love to." He's like, "I've just started engineering. I got a little studio at home. Like, can we make a song?" And I was like, "Bro, say less. Like, let's do it." and then one thing led to the next, and kind of about 2017, the end of 2017, I like invested properly and like did an EP done with a local legend down here called Tene, who produced a lot of Scribes, Crusader. He produced a lot of
Hmm.
Crusader. And after that point, it was kind of like a key pivot in the way I viewed music. I was like, oh, I want to turn this into a career and I want to do this forever. And it kind of just made my decisions a bit more intentional.
Yep.
Yeah, that was around 2017, and yeah, now here we are, bro.
Well, in 2018, bro, you released your debut, which was "Love Me." Like, was that a? You said then in the 2017 that was you started to invest it all, and you know the the manifestation kind of started coming to your head, you started picturing stuff. 2018, you released "Love Me." Was that a moment like, okay, yeah, we're in this. Let's put
Yeah,
everything we
yeah,
have into it. I'm doing this. I'm ready.
yeah. I'm glad you asked that too, because funny story, a lot of people missed it. A few people didn't. Love Me was the end track on an EP that I put out with Tene.
Yeah,
And it was the one that I connected with the strongest, and I just scrapped all the rest. And then I introduced the brand. I was like, oh, like the name Valle came to me, and that was the combination of Van Morrison and Allen Iverson, like two of the
love
biggest
that.
influence. Yeah, I got their first name. I was just driving in the car one day, and I was like, Van. Oh, I got it from bro. What's that crazy dude name who apparently took out one of his rib cage to push him?
Oh,
Marilyn Manson. So
gotcha.
his concept was like Beauty and the Beast. So he got Marilyn Monroe and Charles Manson, the
Yeah, yeah,
notorious serial killer. And I was like, oh, so this guy kind of like took two inspirations, blended their names, and I was like, oh, Van Morrison, Allen Iverson, what can I do? Van, Allen, I was like, Valen, nah, sounds like villain, cut the N, valet. And then I said that and I was like, that's it. I was like, I'm gonna run with that. So I pulled the EP off, kind of came up with this brand and this identity, and then re-release "Love Me," the debut
hmm
single. And it's crazy because like it's not a radio song, bro. Like it's not. It's really deep and it's really long. It's nearly 5 minutes long.
yeah.
Um, and it did well on radio, which is bizarre. I don't understand it. I've never understood that, but that kind of started the like you said, where I was like, okay, I'm serious about this. I really want to try make this a sustainable living and
hmm
keep
hmm
doing this forever. Yeah,
Well, that just there, bro. I really love to think that someone I say quite like difference is good. Different is good. Being different is good. And you hear radio songs in there, a minute to 2 minutes long. Love Me,
yeah,
like you said, it's longer than normal. It's a deeper meaning to it. It's painting a more beautiful picture, and that's different to stuff that's going against the grain. And I have a
yeah,
feeling that's why it flourished into something as good as it is. Because people get sick of those 1 2 minute songs, and you have amazing songs like Bohemian Rhapsody that's long as, and
yeah.
and and you have something like Love Me,
Do
which
they
is
get, yeah, like, because I'm kind of lost in the source, bro. Like
yeah,
I'm in the matrix of making music now,
yeah,
and it's good to like have these conversations every now and again and be like, do they do like as a listener, how do
yeah.
you feel? Like, do you
It's
get sick
re-
of those 1 2 minute joints and you're
Mhm.
like, you like it when you hear something different?
Yeah, it's really and what's the other one? It is Dancing with the Devil. Songs like have you heard Dancing with the Devil?
No, but I want to listen to it.
Yeah, I'll flick it to you. It's songs like that, real long, meaningful songs, and you have people who sung long songs like Elvis Presley, like
Mm,
nice songs like that, where it feels like you're being told a story
mm,
rather than just being told a little like a morning like a news broadcast where it's quick and simple. You're actually being told a story, and it's painting a picture in your head. So songs that are longer than usual, bro, it's amazing. I love it. I personally love long songs. Like I could work out the Bohemian Rhapsody on repeat, bro. Like
mm,
long songs like that is just an amazing thing. So trust me, long songs like Love Me it's telling you a story. It's
mm,
like you watch like an extra long movie, a movie that's like The Irishman, which is like 3 hours long compared to an hour long. Like it's telling you a story and you feel so invested into it. So
mm.
that's something I think you should keep pushing for, man. And every now and again chuck out a long song and go against the grain of what everything else is, because different is really good. Different is
Cool.
so good.
Me. I'm glad. It's good to hear that because I just wrote this joint that's got like no drums in it.
Yeah,
real interesting harmony and like a real loose structure. So it's like, and I'm like, "Fuck, I love it though. And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, bro. Well, trust me, man. Just do you. Like we said, just be you, bro. If you want to
Mm,
write a long song, chuck it out there. People are gonna love it.
fire. Thanks, bro. Good to know.
So that's 2018. You released Love Me 2018, and it's only been 4 years since then. Then
Mm,
2020, you released a couple songs, and then TripAdvisor was the one that went ding.
yeah, it
So that
was a
was that
yeah.
was that the number one Apple was it a radio show?
Yeah, it was so at the time it was they rebranded, but it's called Beats One and now it's called
Ah,
Radio One.
yes. Yep, yep, yep.
And that's Ebro's show. And so he
Yep.
featured it on there and introduced the song to his audience. And it was just a crazy moment, bro. It was like it was funny. Yeah. Real wild. Crazy.
Mm,
Yeah. Everything changed a lot for me after that song. And the cool thing, like the beautiful thing that I love about that song is I gave it away to PNG for free, like because the way music's consumed over there, everyone uses WhatsApp and like download links and sharing of the actual MP3 file. It's not
yep.
like Spotify wasn't even in PNG market. It was only Apple Music at the time of release. And so I was like, oh, well, this is not a streaming song. I got to find another way to get this to the people because I really wanted them to have it more than anyone else. Everyone else, like, it's just a bonus. Um, and so I just chucked it up on all my socials and just like let it go crazy. And it was just cool as like seeing photos of people listening to it, watching the video, like in the street under like street lights and stuff. I was just, yeah, it was a special moment, bro. Like it's so special that it's scary. I've told friends this before. I'm like, man, I really want to have like another special moment like that. And
Mm.
I feel like I'm due one and I haven't had one. Um, so I just got to keep pushing and hopefully I get another special moment like that one day. But it was crazy. It was.
Reconnecting, because that's now from you know, you being a little boy going back home, reconnecting to now you've been a grown man in his element with his music, reconnecting with your home again through
Yeah.
something that you love. That's special, bro. That is special.
Thanks, bro. Yeah. No, I love that song. I love that
Yeah,
song and just everything about how everything happened. Yeah.
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 So I'd love to ask you, man, for even just some advice or just an insight to, you know, days where you feel that you feel you need to hustle, but you don't have that fire. You know,
Mm,
what keeps that fire going? What keeps Valet
that-
fighting?
that's a great question. Fire. Um, what keeps me fighting? I think before I had children, I would have said something like purpose.
Mm,
Like there was something in me at some point where I think I played a show, bro. I came up and I played this festival in Hamilton and um I did a I did a good job, but I had a really amazing moment with the audience where like there was just this connection and it made me aware that I was supposed to be doing this.
yep,
Like it was like, oh,
this is my calling.
this is my calling. I'm meant for this.
Mm,
Um, and I didn't want to let that responsibility down. And so that's the way I view purpose is that I'm like, I've got to keep going. This is what I'm here to do, kind of thing. Um, which gives you kind of a bit of courage because it tells you that the future that is uncertain and difficult because it has obstacles, that there is sort of this path, whether you believe in God or the universe or whoever you want to put in that, give that title or that name to, has laid out this journey for you,
mm,
and that you just have to be faithful and obedient to taking those steps. And that helps me. That gives me drive. And
yep.
it's not drive as in like a, I think people use the word motivation in the wrong way. Where motivation is like a feeling, and
Hmm,
sometimes
hmm.
you have it. It's frail, bro. It comes and it goes. But what are you gonna do when you don't feel hot and you feel like shit
Yep.
and you're failing? You know, you're failing to your peers or things didn't go as planned. Um, and then I feel like it's purpose that you got to lean on because that'll help you make choices that push you forward, even when you don't feel it, you don't feel like
Yeah,
it.
bro.
Um, And that's what and then when I had children, it it made it even more urgent, because I was like, I've got to display to them, because children learn from example more than what you tell them. So I was like, I got to live what I preach,
Yep.
because my kids are watching, um, and I want them to fulfill their purpose. And so the only way I can teach them that really actually is by living mine. Um, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
There's maybe some other little flowers around the edge of things that I like think about, but other than that, it's like purpose and then them, because I want to teach them to do it, because I believe that they're special and that they have something to offer the world.
Yep.
Um, and I got to show them how to do it.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, bro. I want to take a couple steps back to what you're saying when you're doing that show at the Hamilton Festival, and you had
Mm,
that moment with the crowd. I want to dive deep a little bit. You know, that moment when you validated yourself, like you said, I'm meant to be here.
mm,
This is my calling. You know, this is my sign that I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right things for
yeah.
myself. What was you said how that was special to you?
Mm,
But was there a deeper feeling to that when it was an eye opening moment when you actually realized this is what I'm meant to do? Because you said earlier on in your life you felt lost within yourself. You know, you didn't truly know who you were. Then you went back to your home, and then you felt connected. You come back over here, which is again sometimes when you're moving around and you come back over here, it can be a bit of a confusing time for the mind again. And
mm,
then you
yeah.
start your music, and then you have this moment with the crowd. What was the deeper feeling to that when you realized this is me? This is what I'm meant to do?
Looking back on it now, I think um, it felt like insecurity was gone.
Amazing.
I was functioning in a way where I wasn't aware of myself in that way.
Mm,
And I think that's a big like telltale sign of when you're you're functioning in your flow, or in your niche, or in your zone. When someone's in their pocket, they you're not aware of like, how do I look? How am I sounding? What do people think of me? And I think it did feel like this kind of spiritual moment where I was like, all of that was gone, bro. And I was just like so locked in to the connection that I was having with the crowd, and how they were responding to the music, and the dynamics of the song, like the big moments. And they didn't let me leave the stage, and I'd never had that. And I had a tiny catalog, bro. I didn't have many songs, and so to fill out my set, I had to perform one of my best friend's songs, and they, and they wouldn't let me leave, and I had to redo songs over again, because I was just like, we were so locked, and it was crazy. It was so weird. Um, but it was like I wasn't aware of insecurity, and like it's yeah, and we're getting real deep here, but I don't think like insecurity is not from us. Someone gave
mm,
us, someone told us, someone treated us a certain way, someone told us a certain thing that was a lie about ourselves, and it distorts our image of ourselves. And I think when you're like in the groove of your purpose, bro, that shit just fades, because the purpose is so much more powerful and meaningful, that like you just don't even have conscious space to be aware of. You know what I mean? Um,
I do, bro. And
when you see
when you
people, yeah, look at any athlete, any person that's functioning at a really high level, that's leaving an audience that's privileged enough to see that moment unfold.
mm,
They're not aware of like insecure. They're not thinking, oh, do I smell nice? Do I sound nice? What's the camera? Are they taking nice shots of me? Do I look good? What's this gonna how's this moment gonna look after the moment? They're so in, bro. They're so locked in the experience of what's happening. And that's what it felt like to me. And it was when I clicked, and I was like, damn, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Because I felt that way for the first time ever. I felt
yeah,
that way. I was like, far, yeah.
and that's really I when you were saying that I had a teary eye because I didn't actually we spoke before about the school chat I did this morning,
Mm,
And bro, that you saying that has actually opened up a whirlwind of thinking for me because I woke up this morning, I looked in the mirror, that's what I thought, bro. Do I look good enough? Do I look presentable?
Mm,
I sat in the hall when these young kids were sitting down. I was like, oh, you know, how do I look right now? Do I look bloated? Do I look like what are
mm,
they thinking of me? Stood
yeah.
up, talked. The kids started chucking their hands up, questions, and you're so right, man. Like I haven't had that. I until you said that, I haven't had that thought before. It's exactly how it is, and you explained it perfectly. When you're in your niche, all your issues go away.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing what you love, and that's what's most important to you in that moment. You do it well, bro. There's not a worry in the world. You know,
Mm,
and you've said that perfectly, and I haven't thought about that ever before until you said that. So I want to say thank you for saying that, man. That's beyond true. That is so beyond true, and what that's a beautiful thing that I think that people miss out on is when they're enjoying it so much. Is sometimes people do worry about, oh, okay, you always see the thing you don't know you're in the good moments until you've had them. That
yeah.
sort of thing
True.
there. Is there going to be another moment like this? Is it going to happen again? Just do what you love, and those moments will come. It's
Totally, bro. Yeah.
I can't even think what the Southie said there because it hit me. It honestly hit me. I was like, shit.
Mm,
Like that's so beyond true, man. And you're worrying if another special moment is going to come. It's going to come. The fact
yeah.
you had that moment there where you had people telling you to stay on the stage. You didn't have any songs to sing. You're like, come on now. I've only released these many songs. What do you want
Yeah.
from me? Like,
Yeah.
and you didn't worry about you didn't have a worry in the world, and the people in the crowd probably didn't have a worry in the world. You know,
Nah.
it was
Yeah.
just you and the crowd out of the whole world. You know, it was you
Yeah.
guys versus the world. No one had an issue that moment in time, and that's powerful, man. That is so powerful that you have that impact with something that you love to transpire that thought over people who are there to watch you. You know, it's incredible,
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. Those moments are they are special, and I guess just like for the audience that's listening, like use those as an indicator of like so that's a big topic now that I'm very aware that young people who are finishing high school are so plagued with is like, what do I do? What am I meant to do? Like where to
Yes.
go? What do I go uni? Do I mom and dad want me to do this? My friends are trying to do this. The internet telling me do this.
Bro.
And I'm just like, man, just be aware of yourself and spend time with yourself and have these experiences and these moments and use them as indicators. Cause like, bro, more often than not, you ain't gonna find it like outside of yourself. Cause you're trying to find what you're meant for and you're trying to find it outside of yourself. And it's like, nah, fam, like it's in you. You just need to um be aware of it. And when the moment comes and you're privileged enough to have some of these moments, like just be awake to them and recognize it, acknowledge it
Yes,
for
bro.
what it is, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, you tuck yourself into bed at the end of the day. So why are you trying to live a life that other people want you to live? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Okay, now I reckon we tease it, man. I reckon we tease it. You got an EP coming out on the 30th of September. That is so close. That is close, bro. That is
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man.
you tease what you want about it. You say what you want about it, but bro, Valle's got an EP on the 30th of September coming out. So
Let's go.
you boys and girls, watch this space.
Yeah, man. Thank you for setting the stage for that. So yeah, Caged Birds comes out on the 30th of this month, September. And yeah, I'm the thing I'm kind of thinking the most about is just doing live shows with the music. And that's what I love, bro. Like I love connecting with people after shows and just those special moments. They're like you can't manufacture them. You can no show is ever the same, even if you're doing the same songs. Like the audience is never the same. Like it's irreplaceable. And then yeah, I'm obviously looking for like I love people listening to music in their own time. So that's where audio is great because you're like you can consume it without distraction and really pay attention to like what I'm trying to say, because I'm saying a lot. And then yeah, just like can't wait to go see people and play it for them. And yeah, bro, I'm excited.
What's the next steps for you, bro? What's some milestones you want to hit? Now, I'm big on not sharing your goals too much, but if there's some that you want to put out into the universe or that you want to
Hmm.
put out to flourish,
Um, man, I just want to keep being faithful to the journey,
beautiful.
to be
Yeah,
honest with you. And I'm trying to like, yeah, like you say, pay less attention to what that's gonna look like and more attention into just doing my job now and
yep.
like doing all these little things well. Um, and trying not to stress myself out along the way. But actual work of like sometimes we make some of the stuff more scarier than it has
And
to
it
be.
is, yeah, 100%,
Put
hundred
ourselves in these
percent.
cages, you know? Yeah. So just trying to enjoy it, bro. And yeah, I love what I do. So yeah, that's
Mean,
for
bro,
me, bro. Yeah.
mean. Now, I'd love to hand it over to you, man. You can put any advice out into the world, maybe for your kids to look back on in the future, for yourself to reminisce on.
Mm.
Say anything you want, brother. Anything.
Oh man, that's a lot of pressure, bro. Especially because I feel like I talk so much. Man, what do I say? I don't know. Well, you got me thinking about because you just did a talk at a high school, and I'm thinking about
Yeah.
kids, and we spoke about leaving school, um, and maybe I just want to encourage young people to like be honest with themselves, because even in my chair, I talk to young people, and there's so much pressure from outside of themselves, you know, from family to social media to all this the circle of influence kind of just gets bigger and bigger the further that you push
Mm,
that circle out. And it's all just noise, and it's not beneficial to you finding that thing because you're so desperate to find your groove, find your niche, find where you belong, find how you're gonna provide for yourself and eventually one day have a family, or if that's something that you want and that you value. And it's just in you. I just want to let them know that it's not out there, it's inside of you. um, and be honest with that, because I think sometimes we know, but we're afraid of what people think, or we're afraid of failure, and we're afraid of risk, and um, but they're all false alarms, you
yeah.
know. Um, so yeah, just know yourself and don't be afraid. Like get comfortable with yourself. Um, I hope that kind of makes sense, bro. I don't.
It
But
does,
yeah,
bro. It
my
does.
mind's kind of just stuck on young people kind of making that transition into like the professional world when and it's not even more bro, adults have not solved anything more than you guys have. We just have like bills. We just have bills and more hair. That's it, you know? Oh, but yeah, no, I love you guys, and like I wish there was kind of someone uh around me at that time just telling me, and even at the start of school, just caring way too much about like what your peers think, and that just dominating all your it dominates your beliefs, it dominates your actions, the way you choose to spend your time, the way you choose to spend your money, your resource, what you think about. And just like, bro, so much of that shit just doesn't matter when you leave school. um and the sooner you can realize that, the better, the more prepared you'll be, the more alert and awake you'll be, you know. um So yeah, young people, go get it, man. You guys are the answer. Got this.
Beautiful, man. Thank you for that. I'd like
Mhm.
to I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your Friday, man, and coming on the Hindo's Hot Topics podcast. Really appreciate our chat, Valle.
Bro, thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure. I'm really glad that we got to do this.
Yeah,
There's no
man.
better way to spend my Friday, man, and talking some truth.
Love it. Preach the truth, man. Now, like we said before, guys, watch Valley's Space. He's got a new single out coming on the 30th of September. Get excited, get ready, listen to it, share it, show it some love. And as always, you know I love you. There's never a stupid question in the world. My line's always open. If you ever have any worries, ask away. daytime, nighttime, midnight, 2 in the morning, whatever it is, flick me a message and I'll reply to you. You know, I love to say, do what you know is right, do what makes you happy, and do what you need to do for yourself. Until next week, love yourself, have a great week, and stay true. See you later.
Stay true, baby. Stay true.
Love is lost.